Hello everyone, my name is Fellner and I will be bringing you a PvT featuring the one, the only White Ra from his Special Tactics 11 replay pack, which you can find yourself in the video description. We have White Ra spawning in the red as Protoss in the west, and his opponent, the blue Terran spawning in the south, Turuk. Now, between these two players, most of these games that come off White Ra's pack are normally featured off his ladder matches. When he does this, he normally tries to get as great as gameplay as he can. Normally featuring White Ra wins, but every once in a while the losses. I've not previewed this match, so hopefully we'll catch all the action as it happens. Now, from what I can tell right now, completely standard, no cheese happening, which is thankful. White Ra always provides us with some of the best replays you can find. Now, Turuk, seems to be going for pretty simple, pretty standard, looking to go for his wall off, keeping the constant SCB and pro production as these high-level players normally do. Make sure to watch a lot, boys and girls, because you might learn something. Looks like we have a 12 racks as per standard, and a 13 gateway from Mr. Ra himself. Sending out his scout afterwards, no early scouts from neither player. Sending them out at about the same time too, so these players seem to be quite in sync. We have a 13 gas going down for the Terran, completely standard at the moment, nothing too crazy happening yet. 15 gas for White Ra, and all seems to be good. Now, when the game is about to pick up here, we should see, hopefully, something amazingly special come out of White Ra, whether it be Archon drops or High Templar drops. White Ra's been featuring a lot of fancy replays here recently, and I'm hoping to pick up something great from it. I've seen the scouting SCV coming off it now, and they're both going to check each other's bases. Not seen anything quite yet. White Ra quick to respond, so not seeing anything at the third, and we'll scout each other last as for the Terran. Now, Terran seems to be a bit slower on his reactions, but still quite up there. Now it looks like Turuk has his Marine out in time, so White Ra won't be able to get into this base and micro properly, so let's see what happens here. Nope, is he going to save the probe? Yes he will, not a problem. Now as for the SCV is going to get inside the Protoss base and get a great scout going out. White Ra opting to skip the first Zealot, going straight for a Stalker, and his Cyber Core, along with tossing down a gas, seems to be completely standard from both players right now. We have a second barracks coming up for Turuk. He's looking to go with a bio route this game, and on top of that is a tech lab. So yes, so we should be seeing some pretty standard bio coming off at Turuk right now, with his more than likely going to be getting either stim or marine shields coming off of this, possibly concussive shells, depending if we see. We're going to see marauders coming out of this. Any upgrades coming off? Wait until he gets enough minerals. Yes, concussive shells. Now White Ra keeping the tower in the east or in the middle, keeping full view of all that you can see. We have a patrolling SCB hiding by White Ra's gold. Not sure what he's up to yet, but we'll make sure to keep our eyes on it. Looks like White Ra is getting a second gateway along with the robotics, going to one gateway robotics. 3 gates, pretty standard so far. If this is anything like a normal build, we should be seeing expand coming off of White Ra here anytime now. Keeping a Stalker and Sentry counts out. Completely standard with the Observer count. Looking like White Ra wants to get a pretty easy scout going up. Nothing quite out yet to detect for Turuk himself, but no gas either, so we don't seem to be going any kind of tech yet. Just going to keep pumping up these 2 racks for the time being. But we should be seeing a gas come up here shortly if we're looking to see any kind of higher tech, whether it be from, of course, factory tech, even a starport if he's looking to go for the MMM build. Getting a bunker up, looks like he's worried about a little bit of pressure coming off of White Ra, but White Ra's not one to do that. Now, what has Turuk seen? Turuk has seen just the 1 gate, and he sees the 3 gates and the robotics just right there. So, White Ra himself has an observer inside of Turuk's base. He's seen the entire armory composition, he sees the bunker up, he sees the command center going down, he knows exactly what's going on. White Ra opting to take a expansion himself, and Turuk sees that with his SCV right here. That will be eliminated by this Stalker. Still keeping control of the middle. Turuk hasn't sent out any units to kind of prevent that from happening. So White Ra has great map vision right now, which is incredibly helpful, especially when trying to make your decisions. Knowing what the enemy's doing is all part of the game. Now it looks like that we got a starport, or rather factory, coming down. Didn't see the factory quite yet, but there it is. White Ra's seen it as well. Continuing to macro up. Both players are reaching their supply limits. Haven't really been watching the supply though. White Ra keeping up his macro as per normal. Let's see, warpins. Oh, just eliminated the observer there. Poor observer, what did he ever do? Salvaging the bunker, and looks like we're going to actually see a push here come up from Turuk. Is White Ra going to be prepared for this? Looks like, if we look at the units tab, White Ra with 5 zealots, a stalker, and an immortal, and 3 sentries, of course. While Turuk himself has 15 marines and marauders at this probe, so he knows that this is coming. White Ra continuing to mate out over some probes. The probe count definitely favoring White Ra right now, but the armor composition favoring Turuk. Let's see how the engagement happens. Nice, great force field coming down from White Ra. White Ra looking to clean this up quite well. He's got great concave, he's doing massive damage. He cleans that up with ease. He lost about 4 or 5 zealots there. Nothing really lost too bad. If we look at the army tabs, definitely in White Ra's favor right now. If we look at the unit loss tab, lost. White Ra coming out ahead of that, only losing 8 units for some resources, and of course Turuk losing 17, as you can all see there. Continuing to warp in, White Ra is keeping on top of his macro. Now with 3 bases, is he adding on any additional units or any other gateways? Looks like he's continuing to pump from his robotics bay, getting another observer out to see what Turuk's up to. Along with that, it looks like that he's clearing up the gold here, looking to expand once again, just getting his second up and running and saturated, already expanding to the 3rd. While Turuk, over here in the blue, is scouting. Is he going to eliminate that observer? Yes, he's going to get the observer, no problem. Looks like White Ra is moving out to the middle, wants to keep control of that center tower. He's got another observer though moving into Turuk's base. Looks like White Ra has observers everywhere, watching everything that the Terran does. Nothing will be a surprise to poor old White Ra. Now, with the gold base coming up, White Ra's going to get a huge supply lead. More than likely, we'll be moving into a, if I had to guess, I would say Archon Zealot build, especially with getting the leg upgrade and the additional gates. He is now moving up to 7 gateways, which is pretty standard. There are 3 bases, unless you're going a heavy robotics build, of course, which you normally would add robotics bay to get your bosses, but that's not the case here. Looks like White Ra is still keeping control of the center. If we look at the supply counts, White Ra is supply blocked right now, but with 2 pylons on the way. Our Terran player also supply blocked, but with 2 supply depots on the way. So both players are macroing a little poorly today, but not so bad when you have so many ladder games going down. You can't play them all perfect. Finally adding on 2 more barracks to add to his bio ball, and of course the starport with the reactor. Oh, looks like he might be loading up for a drop here. White Ra has full view over this with his observer. It's actually following the wrong way. Does White Ra see this? He's got a couple stalkers warped in at his base here and continue to warp in a few more. It's quite obvious. It looks like White Ra will catch this as long as he's paying attention. Another observer moving out. How many observers does White Ra have? White Ra has 2 observers out on the field right now. Continuing to watch the medevacs and the Terran's base. Oh, looks like the observer's here. Gonna make sure to give you that high ground. Gonna snipe 1 medevac. Second one will get away, but that was full of marines. That's a full medevac snipe, while the other one only had 3 marauders in it, I believe. Yes, 3 marauders. Now White Ra up, getting his gold base starting to get saturated. He's got 9 probes on the line right now, along with oversaturation on minerals in his natural. How's the main looking? Main's looking great, actually. Great, with that. Looks like White Ra's going to be adding on a couple more upgrades now. Moving on, he's getting the +1 upgrade, which is great for zealots. It makes marines only do 4 damage to each zealot, which base health, of course, on the shield, but is incredibly helpful, especially with the amount of marines that Turuk has and the amount of bio that he's going. Looks like Turuk's adding on a Ghost Academy now, looking to get those ghosts, which are incredibly helpful and incredibly good against the Protoss army, especially if White Ra is getting Templars, which it looks to be he is doing with the Templar archives about to finish up. If I can only find where that is located. There it is, right there in the natural. Now continuing with the Forge upgrade, seems to be moving on quite well. Another observer on the way. White Ra doesn't look to be producing too much out of his robotics except for all of the observers, which is incredibly helpful. Oh, we got an engagement in the middle that I seem to have missed. Yeah, great micro coming out from the Aaron player. He's gonna load up and run away though. Doesn't look like he wants to engage that too much more. With this, White Ra is still continuing to increase his saturation. White Ra looking to make a push here, actually. Looking to do quite a bit of damage, but he's going to pull back. So we still have the two fully loaded bunkers here, back at the thing, and looks like Turuk's taking advantage for himself. Has he cleared out the gold? Yes, in fact, he has. Looks like Turuk's going to go ahead and move out, forcing him on his army for no real reason. That observer could be taken out quite easily, but I guess it's all free in medevac energy. These medevacs do have quite a bit. Looks like White Ra was looking to take his fourth expansion as well at this time, even with the massive amount of pylons. Looks like he's going to have plenty of supply overhead, even if he happens to lose a couple. Now taking both the gases at the gold, and how about at the natural, or the fourth rather, still nothing quite yet. We have the Templars warping in, and here's the Archons. No Templar Sonic Storm, so looking like he's just going to go a heavy Zealot Archon build, getting his +2 armor and +1 weapons now, Chrono boosting it while he's at it. If we look at the Chrono boost, right, we're at 75, 60, building, and 100. So White Ra falling a little bit behind on the Chrono boost, but that's okay with so much that Protoss have to do, but making sure to keep good Chrono boosts will definitely improve your play, especially for all Protoss players. It's such a helpful resource. He's just a little sad that he's slacking behind. Looking like he's adding up some photon cannon defenses now so he doesn't get attacked while he's moving out. And holy crap, that is a lot of warp gates coming out. It looks like that we have 8, 10, 14 warp gates coming up for White Ra here, along with the heavy zealots, a lot of zealots. Wow, look at them all. If we look at the units tab, 41 zealots for Mr. Ra, with looks like 2 Archons. I'm assuming he's going to be adding some more here shortly. The planetary fortress is now up and running. Yes, 1 gas, only 1 harvester on gas, which is a little strange, but I guess whatever floats your boat. But normally that I would consider that definitely a mistake. Looks like continue to harvest. What do we have for? Oh, he's almost mined out at his main. Just a couple hundred minerals left on each patch. Same for Mr. Ra here. It actually looks like Mr. Ra is going to be mining out his main before our Terran friend. Probe counts quite high, fantastic for both players, both 71 for Turuk and 74 for White Ra. Now the army tabs, looks like Mr. Ra or White Ra is going to be pushing out here shortly, putting a couple pylons up forward, looking to see if he has any bases up on 5th or 4th possibly. Because most turns like to take these 2 bases rather because they're easier to defend, especially with the planetary fortresses. Well, Zerg would definitely be taking this one, and this one normally. Looks like we're gonna get ooh, sniping some ghosts. Uh-oh, this could be huge. Oh, no, I'm gonna save him. Not gonna lose a ghost. Wait, oh, sounds like he lost one. He lost 1 ghost there, so that's definitely painful for 4 zealots. But looks like he's got quite the army here now. We got a warp prism on the field with 3 Templars inside of it. I wonder what he's going to be doing with that. I'm assuming he just doesn't want to get it dropped. Does White Ra have the upgrade for Templars? Yes, he does. So he does have Psionic Storm, so these Templar could be definitely worth their weight in gold, especially with the mass bioball that Turuk is assembling. If we look at the army counts, White Ra has now been maxed for a little bit, looking to do a great job at keeping that up. Looks like you have +2/+2 on the way for Turuk here, and also getting vehicle weapons, which is quite strange because we haven't seen any factory tech come out yet. I can only think that that would be a mistake as well. We do have the armory, and what's the armory researching here? That's vehicle weapons. But yeah, no factories out for Turuk himself. It looks like that we got to push in here, attacking the planetary fortress, defending Storm's Landing, softening up quite a bit of the army here. Ghosts stealthing and moving out. We're see some great EMPs. There's 1 EMP landing quite well. Another EMP on the Zealots. And Warp Prism's really flying over the army. Drops the great Storm, hurting his units more than anything else though. White Ra is pushing forward. Another Storm lands. He's got plenty of supply. It looks like White Ra is going to get a commanding lead here. He's definitely taking the force. This definitely could be GG coming up. White Ra is pushing forward into the natural, and there you are, GG.